Hey guys, it's Friday. Thanks for joining me again for another episode of Truck Your Money, where we talk about all things financial outside the world of trucking. Investing, retirement, passive income, side income. Trucking's off the table. Can't be all trucking all the time. This isn't investment advice. This is just me talking about my journey, what I do. Yeah, I have to say that every video because, freedom of speech. Just watch what you say. Otherwise, the Department of Making People Sad will come and send men with guns and put me in some shiny bracelets and lock me in a cage. So, anyway, got a long one here for you today, but full of stuff here, so stick around. You're going to want to hear some of this. It's pretty cool. Some things we're going to talk about here. People were asking me, what brokerage do I use? How do I select the brokerage? We'll talk about that first, and then we'll get into, I accidentally did something smart, so that was pretty cool. I'll take smart over accidental over intentional any day, as long as the result is good. Added another source of income, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. 2 new positions in my portfolio, we'll talk about that. And there is no money in trucking. You're going to want to hear this one. I know trucking's off the table, but this is something a little different, and you might want to hear it. So let's start with selecting a brokerage. Everybody's wondering how you do that. Well, first you got to decide, do I want full service or do I want to do this myself? Full service brokerage, you give them your money, you pay them big commissions or fees, and they manage your money for you. Now, over the course of time, these commissions really add up, so you really kind of got to watch. But if you want that, then you want a company like Edward Jones or A.G. Edwards or Ameriprise or something like that. Won't get too much into that because I imagine a lot of you are going to want to kind of manage your own money. And in which case you'd want a discount brokerage. Some of the more popular discount brokerages are like Fidelity, Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, Charles Schwab, Merrill Edge, E-Trade, companies like that. First, let me talk about some things to stay away from before we look for certain things on the positive side. Some things to stay away from. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, I wouldn't select any of these, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm not just going to trash them. Robinhood, M1 Finance, Webull, First Trade, Betterment, Acorns. Okay, these are some new up and coming things. Younger people tend to like them. Low fees, fractional shares. They got a lot of technology, like in their apps and stuff. I'm gonna tell you why I would stay away from them. Number one, they have poor selections of investments. You have a very narrow range of what you can and can't invest in, and I don't want that. I want the whole world available to me to put my money in. My money, I want to do with it what I want to do. And with these companies, you can't necessarily do that. A lot of them have poor infrastructure. And what am I talking about there? Okay, like in March when the market was crashing, those few days when it just was tanking, a lot of people in Robinhood got pinched and they got hurt really bad. They could not sell their positions. They could not get their money out because Robinhood's computer systems crashed. They could not handle the volume. That is unacceptable. This is not fun and games. This is not playtime. This is serious business, especially when you amass a certain amount of money. You cannot have that. Okay? You need a big company that's been around a very long time that has the infrastructure to handle this. For that reason alone, I wouldn't touch any of those, but that's, like I said, that's my opinion. Poor customer service. I've heard time and time again from people that invest in Robinhood how bad the customer service is. If you can even get a hold of anybody, you'll have to send them a message through the app and wait several days for a response. Unacceptable. That is not how you do things. Okay? Now let's talk about some things to look for in a broker, okay? Now this would be a discount brokerage like Fidelity, Vanguard, the ones I just talked about. You find one that suits your needs. My needs are different from your needs, different from another guy's needs. So you can go on all these companies' websites and search their website, see what they offer. Find one you're comfortable with. They're all good. I use Fidelity. That's what I like. I like their interface. Well, we'll get to the reasons here in a minute. They check all these boxes. They're not a sponsor of this. This is just, I wish they were. Hey, Fidelity, if you want to sponsor this, I'll take your money. I love your product. You got one of the best products on the market, and I'm not ashamed to promote it. So some of the things to look for is fees. In today's day and age, there's no need to pay all kinds of fees if you're going to do this yourself. Fidelity, Vanguard especially, very, very low fees in their ETFs and mutual funds. Most places have dropped commissions on stock trading, so that's a big deal. It makes it more practical. Hey, if you only got a small amount of money, you can buy one share of something. Whereas before, you couldn't really do that because the commission would just is too much to overcome buying small. You needed to save up and buy big chunks at a time. So there's fees. Interface friendly. Check out all the different websites. See which one flows for you, that you can find stuff on their website. Make sure it's user friendly for you. Make sure they have a nice mobile app. Fidelity has I like their mobile app. I use it all the time. They all have everybody has a mobile app nowadays. Just find one you like. Customer service is a big one, okay? When I call Fidelity, they answer the phone. They have great security. They have voice recognition, so they know it's me, not somebody calling in to pretend they're me. And their people are knowledgeable. They're all licensed. There's different departments. One person will be licensed in annuities and bonds and stocks. You ask them a question, they know. And customer services in the United States. That's a big one for me. I'm tired. You call a place like Uber. I'm sure you've all called Uber Freight before, or Uber whoever. You can't make heads or tails out of what in the hell they're trying to tell you. That's unacceptable to me. Fidelity is a great American company. It's not that these Vanguard, they're out of Pennsylvania. So another one, you know, me saying good things about one is not knocking another one. I like them, most of them, okay? Infrastructure. We just talked about why that's critical. It is unacceptable for you to not be able to access your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't care. You need access to your money. We want somebody that's been around a very long time, just for all these reasons, okay? I like one with a full service option. If I call Fidelity and say, hey, I need help with a trade, or I need some advice, or I need this, or I need that, they can provide me a full service option where they charge me a fee for the service. And that's great because I get to pick whether or not I want to pay the fee. I can just use the app or the website on my own, make my own decisions, and pay no fees. If I want them to help me on one thing, I can say, hey, help me out on this. What's the fee? They'll tell me. I can pay it or not pay it, and we go from there. I like having that option. And as far as I know, most of these that I mentioned have that option. Research tools. Some of the research tools are better than others. They're more easy to use than others. But they're all good. And there's plenty of places outside of like Yahoo Finance, things like that, where you can do your own research. And finally, initial deposit to open an account. This used to be a big thing. Like when I first got into Fidelity, it took $2,500 to get into the mutual fund I wanted to get into. Now that's zero. They dropped all theirs down to zero. So you can put $1 in, get into most any of their mutual funds or ETFs, or they even now offer fractional shares now, and at no commission. So if I can't afford to buy one whole share of 3M, I can put $5 in. There's still no commission. You couldn't do that before. That's what steered people towards Robinhood and M1 Finance and these, because they could buy fractional shares. You can do that all on Fidelity now for still no fee. So I'd rather do that and have all the other benefits that come with it. Vanguard still has, in a lot of their funds and stuff, a minimum initial deposit of like $2,500. They'll have to drop that if they want to stay competitive. They'll have to drop that. So I wouldn't, if you're with Vanguard, I wouldn't drop them just because of that. They're going to have to change to stay competitive. All of these have had to change to be competitive. Otherwise, they lose all their business. So those are some things to look for selecting a brokerage. Now, let's get into these other things we want to talk about. Oh, incidentally, tonight, 7 p.m. Central, I'm going to try to do a live stream to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. Do some trivia, give away some gift cards. If you can join me for that, that'd be awesome. So what do we want to get into next? Okay, well, while we're on that topic, I added another source of income. I finally got monetized on YouTube. Hit my 1,000 subscribers. I had my watch time. You need 4,000 hours. I had that in a long time ago, way more than that. But I just needed that 1,000 subscribers, so we got there. So that's another source of income. It took me 1 year and 100 videos to get to the point of being monetized. So it didn't come easy, but we got there. And I'm proud to say my first day of being monetized, I made 2 cents. So that big YouTube money, it's not there for everybody, but hopefully maybe I could build that up to a whole 5 cents a day. That'd be awesome. So we talked about that. Accidentally did something smart. Okay, so follow me for a minute. There's 52 weeks in a year, 26 weeks in half a year. That means every quarter has 13 weeks, right? Now, most of the dividend stocks pay quarterly. All right, so they'll pay a quarter, and then next quarter they'll pay and pay. This is episode number 13, and this is the 13th week in a row that I have reported dividend income. Somebody has paid me every week for 13 weeks. So I've accidentally set up a portfolio that pays me passive income every week of the year. Because now that the quarter's over, starts a new quarter, so these stocks will start paying over and over again. Some of them pay every month, but that's figured in the whole equation. I did this by accident. I would never intentionally set that up that way. I want to pick the best investments that pay me, regardless of when they pay. I don't care when they pay. They could all pay me on the same day once a year. I wouldn't care. But this is kind of a nice little bonus, because what I could do with this is decide, okay, I need, for instance, $500 a week to live on, to pay all my bills, whatever. So now, knowing that I already get paid every week, I could just go in and say, all right, I need this many shares of this stock, this many shares of this one, I could figure out how to build myself a $500 a week income, if that's what I chose to do. I am not going to do that. I want the best investments. Like I said, I don't care when they pay me. But it's kind of neat that happened. It was unintentional. Nice little byproduct of what I've built here with all these positions. So speaking of positions, I added 2 more positions this week. I need more positions, like I need another hole in my head, but I can't help it. Some people are alcoholics, some people smoke. I'm addicted to passive income and dividend stocks. What can I say? It's my vice. I can't help myself sometimes. First I did something I never do. I never do this. This was very speculative. I put some money into a smaller company here called Mind Medicine, ticker symbol MMEDF. We'll call it MindMed. Very speculative. I put like $110 in it, about 320 some shares, and that's all I'm going to buy. I never do this, but I'm like, you know what? That's a night out at a bar or something for somebody. Who cares if I waste $100? Because let me make it very clear, this could very easily go to zero tomorrow, just as easily as it could go to $10 in a year. Okay, this could very easily go to zero. I could lose this money. That's why I only put a little bit in. But I like what they're doing. They're taking hallucinogenic drugs like LSD, and they're taking out the bad parts of it, the hallucinogenic parts, and they're using what's left over to treat mental problems like seizures, addiction, all these kinds of things. And from what I understand, they're having good results. So this may be something that takes 20 years to pay off, but sometimes these things pay off big. But it also could be zero tomorrow, could be gone tomorrow. That's how speculative this is. And I would never suggest you do something like this. The only reason I mention it is because I tell you everything I do to kind of provoke thought and maybe come up with a plan of what you can do. Second position I took was Bristol Myers Squibb. I've had this ticker symbol BMY. I've had this on my watch list for a long time. I just decided it was time to pull the trigger on it. No particular reason in general. I've just been watching it for a while and wanted to jump in. Their current yield is 2.93%. So those 2 new positions were the only things that I bought this week. So let's now talk about who paid this week. Verizon, ticker symbol VZ. The 4.25% yield, they paid this week. General Mills, ticker symbol GIS, 3.05% yield. And Campbell's, ticker symbol CPB, with a 2.81% yield. So that's all that paid this week, and I received some rental income. Always at the first of the month, I get some rent coming in. So that's all passive income and investment income I had for the week. Now, let's talk about there is no money in trucking. How many times we got to hear this? It's just, oh, poor me, there's no money in trucking. Well, guess what? There is money in trucking, but it's not what you're thinking. Well, I mean, there's money doing what we do too, running up and down the road, but sometimes we look at things wrong, and that's why I mentioned this. So I went back and I looked at the top 20 performing stocks for the last 20 years, back to the year 2000. Doesn't seem all that long ago. I remember 2000 like it was yesterday. Gosh dang, they're getting old. But Old Dominion Freight Lines, we all know who that is. We've seen them on the road. They're all over the place. Well, Old Dominion Freight Lines has been quietly going about their business for the last 20 years. Ticker symbol ODFL. So what do you think Old Dominion Freight Lines has done in the last 20 years? Well, a $10,000 investment in the year 2000 in Old Dominion Freight Lines. What do you think that would be worth today? I'm going to give you a hint. They're number 3 on the list. They're the 3rd best performing stock of the last 20 years of the whole stock market. $10,000 invested in the year 2000 in Old Dominion Freight Lines. $1.9 million today. But there's no money in trucking, right? Everybody's going broke. Old Dominion Freight Lines just been going about their business. So to say there's no money in trucking, maybe we're not looking at it right. There's money everywhere. We just got to go find it, okay? So I only tell you this to encourage you to always look at every aspect of everything. Maybe we won't make the most money we always can just being in a truck and running up and down the road. But you can sometimes hitch your wagon to another pony here and jump on that bandwagon, make all kinds of money. I'm not suggesting you go out and jump in Old Dominion right now with both feet. Just pointing out, that's a 18,000% gain in 20 years. 30% annual return. Incidentally, number 2 on the list was Tractor Supply. $10,000 invested in the year 2000 would have got you $6.8 million today. And number 1, Monster Beverage. $10,000 invested in the year 2000 would bring you $9.8 million today. So you think you can't change your family tree? What if you'd only put $1,000 in Monster Beverage? You'd still have $980,000 freaking dollars. Okay? So change the way you look at things. I'm not suggesting you chase these companies, or even put money in the market in the first place. I just want to change the way you think about things. People get rich doing anything. People get rich picking up cans on the side of the road. There's somebody who has gotten rich doing anything. Okay? We just got to go find that and get about doing it. So would I take speculatively $10,000 and invest it in one company and hope for the best? I personally wouldn't go about it that way. I would take that $10,000, divide it up 10 ways, and maybe put $1,000 in 10 different companies. You're more likely to hit. And notably, what's missing from this? Do you hear any tech companies in that top 3? No. So you don't have to find the next highfalutin tech company or the next hottest thing. None of these 3 were the next hottest thing, were they? No. They're solid companies. Well, Monster wasn't really around much before that. That was kind of new. But Tractor Supply, that's a boring business, isn't it? So is Old Dominion. Find solid things that make money over a long period of time, and you can do just fine. Really, I never would have thought that Tractor Supply was that kind of an investment. Never in my wildest dreams. Kind of opened my eyes. There was some good other ones on the list. Maybe I'll make a video and we'll go down that list someday and talk a little bit about each one of those. But I just wanted to point that out, and I hope you stuck around to the end of the video to hear that. So anyway, I know that was a long video. Thanks for hanging in there. And if you can join me tonight for the live stream, look forward to seeing you. And otherwise, we'll see you next time. Take care.